who I be. I'm about to make it thunderstorm from the roof down. It's so much ice on my body.
Y'all ready?
Yeah. One time, y'all.
Yeah. How y'all feeling tonight? Like, I'm really, really, really ready, y'all. Like, I'm really, really, really ready. Oh! 938 is here. 938 is here.
Yo, be in my niggas, she trying to get hit.
Oh my God!
My niggas, they bought it, they out with the shit, you hear me? Yo, be in my niggas, she trying to get hit.
Yeah.
My niggas, they bought it, they out with the shit.
Ghost, I see you. Let's go,
I've
y'all.
been fucking with the sketch of the car now, so let's move the top of the list, taking off with it.
What's up? It's your girl, ELLE The Druggg, and when I'm not busy being a modern day bae, I am locked in with my favorite DJ, DJ Rich Beats. Put some
I
respect
see you,
on it.
Stephanie.
Yeah. Let's get it, y'all.
Hey. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. I'm excited.
I'm excited. Rich Beats, how you feeling tonight?
Yeah. Woo. I'm energetic, ecstatic. Let's get it, y'all.
Period. Y'all, I'm especially excited for tonight's episode. Okay, can I just tell y'all? I don't even want to. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know who the guest is. But like, this is like a really big deal for me. Okay, so let me get it together. Okay, y'all. Let's get started. First and foremost, if you are new to the stream, please fave my favorite DJ Rich Beats in this thing. Hello? Shout out to 38, Poppy Blue, King Aquarian, Emma, I see you, Wavy, I see you. What's good, Ghost? I see you. Hello. Welcome to the newly featured Modern Day Bae with ELLE, the only show on tag navigating the modern way to find your bae, and the only live stream podcast tackling the challenges of modern day dating and romantic relationships. If you are new here, I am your hostess, ELLE The Druggg. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited for tonight's episode. We are broadcasting episode 6 of season 2, okay? And this is a weekly show we do every Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is brought to you by the Scouts. All right, y'all, so let's dive into it. First of all, I have a couple announcements. Y'all know how we start. We got to start off with a couple announcements and things going on in and around the app, okay? So bear with me for a little bit. I'm going to start off with my weekly content, okay? Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do the Morning ELLE with Rich Rising Affirmations. That's at 8 a.m. Eastern, okay? On Tuesdays, you already know where to find me. Here for Modern Day Bae. Here for Modern Day Bae at 11 p.m. All right. On Thursdays, I do Face the ELLE, which is a makeup get ready with me. That's at 2 p.m. Eastern. All right. And then on Fridays after the Morning ELLE, you can catch me co-hosting the featured show, The Brighter Side, with my girl, Top Badge Low, at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay. There are a lot of other great content creators and shows on this app, and I would like to highlight them really quickly. On Mondays, Manifesting with Top Badge Banks at 12 p.m. Eastern. It's on hiatus right now, but she will be returning in the fall. So make sure y'all set y'all calendars, you know what I'm saying? Set y'all alarms, mark it, you know what I'm saying? Also, every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern is Geek Out with Casper. So make sure y'all tap in. Sugar, I see you. Bree, I see you. What's up, y'all? How you feeling? Period. Every Tuesday, y'all can tap in. Tuesday evening lineup is crazy on this app. Okay, we have Rex's Executive Chef Wars at 7 p.m. We have Miles presents Punchlines at 8 p.m. We have Rello presents Hot Topics at 9 p.m. And then we have This Is It with Queen K at 10 p.m. All right, and y'all already know what happens at 11 because you're here. Hello? All right, let's get it. On Wednesdays, we have Adult Talk with Top Badge, Most Sexy for Top Badge, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Thursdays, my ace, Susie B, has bingo in her live, okay? That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure y'all tap in for that. And then, of course, on Friday, Top Badge Lolo has the brighter side at 11 a.m. So make sure you tap in with that. And if you ever forget this stuff, or if you're ever wondering how I figure this out, there are banners across the top of the app that you can look at, but there's also a calendar in the top left-hand corner whenever you're in the live section, and that will literally give you all of the content that people have scheduled, and that'll also give you the opportunity to schedule your own content. So make sure you take advantage of that, okay, y'all? Exactly. So I have a few more special announcements before we dive into what's going on today, all right? Sign-ups to be on Modern Day Bae with Elle Season 3 will be opening up on September 1st. So if you want to be on the show, make sure you tap in with me, okay, on September 1st. Everything is linked in my bio to get in contact with me. Also, if you're interested in sponsoring an episode of Modern Day Bae, please contact me on Instagram, okay? It's linked in my bio. Make sure you tap in with me and I can get you those different sponsorship packages that we offer. Make sure you also are tapped in with us on YouTube, okay? We have all the episodes on YouTube. It's linked in my bio, so make sure y'all tap in and subscribe, like, share, all of that fun stuff, okay? Period. Now, I have one more request, and that is that you fave up my favorite DJ, DJ Rich Beats, okay? He's best DJ on the app. And as he leaves us, he will be joining us back at the end of the show, but make sure you fave him now so you don't gotta worry about it later. Hello? I love you, Rich Beats. Awesome. All right, and if you are just tuning in, welcome to Modern Day Bae with Elle. This is a weekly show we do every single Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. It's the only show on Tag navigating the modern way to find your bae. And I am your hostess, ELLE The Druggg, okay? And this show is brought to you by the Scouts. So, as my special guest co-host makes her way to the box, let me just check this really quickly. Okay. All right, I see you, Mom. We're good. Hi, Gasper. Okay, so as my mom makes her way to the box, y'all, I'm really excited for tonight's topic. Tonight, I don't even know if we could put it into a question per se, because I think there's a lot to cover. But overall, the general consensus, okay? The general consensus is that we're going to be talking about how to understand and communicate your triggers, right? And before I bring in my mom, I want to give y'all a little bit of background. She's obviously going to tell y'all about herself and everything, but I just want to let y'all know, like, this is my baby. Like, this is where I get everything from. This is my love. This is one of, if not my favorite person on earth, one of the my favorite people on earth, and I'm really, really excited to share her with you all. So okay, I'm not even gonna take a long time, but I'm gonna bring her up. So she doesn't have an emoji because she's not on the app, y'all, but we're gonna make my mom feel welcome. Okay, so put those syringes, okay? Let her see how much y'all love me. Let her see that all her hard work didn't go to waste. Hello, so guys, see you, Mr. Vine, I see you. All right, my mom is in the box, y'all. Oh my God. Hi, Mommy.
How you doing, baby?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Chilling.
You look good. I like your glasses. Hello.
When you get old, you gotta have these things.
No, you look good. You look good. I'm so glad you're here, Mommy. Thank you for coming and doing this for me. I really appreciate you. I know it's way past your bedtime and everything.
Girl.
So I appreciate it.
Well, you not do anything.
Oh, I love you. Okay. So, y'all, we're going to get started. So, Mom, I just want you to give a little bit of background about who you are, what you do, and, just a little bit of better idea of who you are and, you know what I mean, what makes you so great to speak to this topic that we're going to talk about tonight.
I'm so great. Well,
I am actually Dr. Amy Alexander. I have a PhD in counseling and supervision. I spent most of my career in education. I taught 8th grade U.S. history for almost a decade. I worked in a federally funded program for first-generation college-bound students called Upward Bound here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then I became an elementary counselor for a few years. And while I love them little babies, I'm really built for the older students. I made my way to the high school, and I just left my job in January of almost 30 years as a high school counselor for multiple reasons. But I also started my own consulting firm a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, in my, retirement, build that business so that I can hopefully help educate and enlighten folks on the power of trauma and how it's not just something that happens to you directly, but something that can be passed on familially, culturally, right, historically, in those ways. So that is my passion, and so we'll see where this world takes me.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm excited because I think, I know your research and what you've done and everything, so I have the privilege of having that understanding already. But I'm really excited to see how this applies to romantic relationships and how we can better understand not only ourselves, but how to communicate and how to better understand our partners or future partners. You know what I mean? So I'm just really excited for this conversation. So I normally have a question that I ask everybody that comes on the show. And it's, in one word, what characteristic do you need for your modern day bae? But instead of that question this week, I want to ask you, just to give us a little bit of insight for you, what, and shout out to my dad. Is he here? Is Daddy here? He said he was going to be in the comments.
I cannot.
We can't confirm nor deny. If you see someone named Big Guy commenting, yay! He's here. Perfect. Okay.
Dr. Carlisle.
There it is. Period. Dr. Carlisle and Dr. Alexander, my parents. I love them. Okay, so what was the one characteristic that Daddy had that made him your bae?
Patience.
It's a good one.
And if I had to add another, not had to, but if you asked me about two, it'd be sense of humor. Because you cannot live through life, 26, 27 years in, without that. I cannot. So being funny and being patient.
I love it.
And I think that's different for everybody, right? Because we're all individual folks. We need different things depending on our lived experiences, our socialization, our family of origin, and where we come from. But for me, that was the important thing.
I love it. So patience and a sense of humor. I love that. That must be why I like those things so much too. I love it. Okay, great. All right, y'all. For those of you just tuning in, welcome. This is Modern Day Bae. My name is Elle, and welcome to the stream. I'm really excited. I am here with my mom tonight. She's my special guest co-host, and we are just about to dive into the conversation. So tonight's topic, I usually do like a little intro to tonight's topic, but I just feel like I wanted to have a conversation with you, so I honestly didn't even prepare any of that tonight. So essentially, the premise of tonight is understanding how to recognize and communicate triggers, especially in romantic relationships. So as we just kind of get started with the conversation, I would love for you to just give me your initial thoughts on that and kind of the importance of it. Is that something that's important or essential to even having a successful relationship? Just give me a little bit of insight as far as like how that relates to a romantic relationship and the importance of it, I suppose.
Well, I think as we've discussed
XYZ.
many times over the years, the most significant and most important, the most centered relationship a human being can have is with oneself, right? So understanding you, understanding again your socialization, your family of origin, your culture, the history behind all those things collectively or individually is really, in my opinion, significant in being able to understand what you need in a partner, right? It might not be what Susie down the street needs in a partner, but understanding you and whatever you've experienced. Most people in this world have experienced some type of trauma, at least that's what the research says, right?
Right.
So understanding how those events have affected you as a person, and being able to be humbled, not disrespected, right? Because sometimes we get those things confused. To be humbled in a space that says, okay, I might not have the answers to how I should interact with this because this wasn't given an example to me. Like, for instance, my mother, your grandmother, was never married. So I did not ever get to up close and personal see that type of relationship for me to model my own intimate or romantic relationships on. So understanding where we come from, what has affected us, and who we are in those moments, and who we are. And I think we've talked about this too, Ariel, is like, I'm being different after each conversation I have with another human being who I'm vibing with, whose energy I feel, right? And we've had that. Like, I'm not the same person after a significant a significant conversation I've had with you as I was before, because now I have new knowledge. Now I have different information, a different perspective. So keeping open to that. And I'm gonna just say, really, for historically marginalized folks, especially Black folks, which is where a lot of my research is, we're quick to be on the defensive for good reason,
right?
But recognizing that in an intimate relationship, and that's with best friends, that's with romantic partners, that's with parents, siblings, all that. Recognizing that first, that I come from a culture who's been disrespected, disregarded, right? So that is a part of how I interact with other human beings is really important. And regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is, where you come from, who you come from, knowing that about you is really important, and understanding how trauma can become a part of your relationship in ways that you might not necessarily want it to be, and ways that you don't even recognize that it is, to be able to kind of move from that and become the partner, the person, and in the type of relationship that you want, that suits you. I think oftentimes we look, especially with social media, on, relationship goals and all that. Your goal ain't my goal.
Right.
Right where you're coming from, but my goal is to be at peace and understand me. And again, like, even we talked about when I got married, I kept my last name. That was important to me for a lot of reasons. And a lot of men was like, well, you couldn't be my wife. Well, first of all, I wouldn't want to be your wife if you're that insecure. That
Please let them know.
Right? I can't be me without threatening who you are. That's the problem. So keeping even something as seemingly simple as keeping one's own last name in that relationship is really important. It provides agency, right? It gives us autonomy over certain things. And I certainly feel like I never needed a man to vouch for me and have his last name to legitimize who I am, right? To speak for me, because I didn't even have my daddy's last name. So there's that, right? And so recognizing that piece of who I am is not knowing my father the way a lot of people know their father has colored the way I see relationships, the way I see men, the way I see myself. So that's part of how trauma, because I'm ready to fight you. as soon as like something happens, I'm ready to fight. You know that growing up. I mean, there were moments when you was like, I can't go to the grocery store with you because you might go off on somebody, and I'm feeling that. And I understand that, and I did not completely grasp as a 25, 26-year-old woman the things that I grasp in the space of a 55-year-old woman.
Right.
You know, so all those things are really significant in my mind into understanding how we select people. And I think there's also, just real quickly, Ariel, like my students would be like, I just wasted, 5 weeks of my life. Again, I had high school students, so 5 weeks is a long time.
Right.
But to me, no relationship is a waste of your time. It is teaching you who you are and what you value in other people, right? The type of relationships that support who you are, that value who you are, who see you, and who hear you, and who validate you. So it's never a waste of time. It is you learning you. And again, what's the most significant relationship we have with anybody? Ourselves. There you go.
Very good, very good. That's a lot. That's a lot to kind of delve into. One of the things I heard you say was, other than a relationship with yourself is really important, is how I guess how appreciating your experiences comes with growth and lessons. But I want to take that back into like a little bit more about the triggers and understanding them. I think that, like you were saying, with different relationships, we certainly understand different things about ourselves. Different relationships can even tell us like different triggers or different characteristics about ourselves that we didn't even realize. How would you suggest one like pinpoints a trigger, right? Like we don't always know when we're triggered. We don't always know what happened to kind of jolt us or surprise us or take us back to a space that felt uncomfortable. How would you suggest like pinpointing that or understanding I guess how to find your triggers? Does that make sense?
It does. And I would say paying attention, right? That's the key to everything. Almost everything. Pay attention. Today I was like real miffed. I don't know why. I went to the grocery store. I was like, I was tired. I didn't sleep well last night, but something probably made me not sleep well last night. And so I was reacting to people I care for and love in an impatient way, in a not as respectful as I would like to be way. So I had to stop. Like, again, that goes back to knowing you, right? Okay, so why am I mad? Right? That's a thing. Why am I bothered by this? Why do I feel disrespected by this? And it takes really reflecting on your lived experiences and the significant relationships in your life to be able to come to some type of answer around that. And do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. I'm still searching for those things. But understanding your family of origin, what was valued by them, and how you've been influenced by that, what was valued in relationships, right? Like, we've been together for 55 years, but okay, is the time important, or was y'all motherfucking happy for 55 years?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But being together ain't a whole bunch of stuff if you have not grown, if you have not been fed, if you have not been watered. So understanding yourself, again, it comes back to that in my mind. Understanding and paying attention to what made me feel that way just now. And if you can pinpoint a certain thing, like I feel disrespected, and a lot of folks, that's it. I know for my students, and we're not even talking about necessarily romantic relationships, but all these things hold true to whatever type of relationship we're talking about. Whether it be like, my English teacher hates me, and maybe they do, maybe they don't, but why does that affect you the way it does?
Right.
So it crosses all types of relationships to feel like, or understand and know that these are the experiences I've had in life. I've been disrespected. And I can say that for me, myself, individually, Amy Alexander. I've been disrespected. I know what it feels like, and I don't like it. And so, firstly, what I do is actually try not to disrespect other people. So taking ownership of my own role in whatever relationship I'm in is important. And how do we do that? We figure out our triggers. We figure out that we're not less of a human being by saying we're not perfect, by saying we don't know everything, by saying, you know, I'm willing to learn in this relationship with you. I'm willing to learn me. I'm willing to learn you.
So that goes into that like accountability piece too then.
Yeah, because isn't that important? Like, don't we want people to say, wow, I messed up on that. I was wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And because it acknowledges, and what I've always, I think, tried to tell you and your sister is, it validates that other person. And oftentimes in this world, women, Black folks, and especially Black women, are not validated in that way. And so that's important also when we're not talking about just romantic relationships, but woman-friend relationships. Like, I'm going to need you to validate me. I'm going to need you to hear me and see me and understand that I don't move the same way in this world as a white woman, as a Black man, as any other demographic. We have a unique space, right? So again, friendships are important, and people who we respect and respect us. That's a foundational thing for me in a relationship. If you don't respect me, and if I don't respect you, then we cannot move forward in this.
Right.
And respect is different for different people too, right?
For sure. I love that. I love that that there was that moment of you, like, I take a lot away from that. I really appreciate that, the accountability piece that you highlighted, and I really appreciate that you highlighted that knowing ourselves leads to understanding our triggers, right? You have to know yourself. You have to spend that time with yourself. You have to invest in yourself. Part of that investment is your time and your energy, and putting that into yourself helps you not only know yourself, but understand yourself. And whenever you understand yourself, that's part of the self-love journey. So I actually really, really appreciate that. Thank you for including that in what you were talking about. Okay, y'all, if y'all are just tuning in, this is Modern Day Bae with Elle. I am your hostess. This is a weekly show we do every single Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. I am sitting here with my mom tonight, y'all. My mom is my guest co-host tonight, and we're talking a little bit about understanding your triggers and communicating them for more successful relationships, right? Not just romantic relationships, but also relationships with your family, relationships with any sort of loved one, right? Relationships with your colleagues, just better relationships and communication in general. So very excited, very excited. It is about 11:30, so it is time for us to, y'all already know. My mom is new here, so she hasn't been able to indulge in the Boss Bae panel. But it is just about time for them to request the box. So I'm going to ask my Boss Baes to go ahead and request the box, and we're going to get ready to bring them up for the Boss Bae panel segment, y'all. If you're, again, just tuning in, my name is Elle. This is Modern Day Bae, and I'm really, really excited to share my mom with y'all tonight. This is something that I know she keeps calling me by my real name. I told her, y'all call me Elle. She keeps calling me by my whole name, but I'm really excited for y'all to just experience a little bit of what I have on a regular. It's almost not fair, to be honest. So I'm really excited to just share her and her knowledge and her insight with y'all. And let's go ahead and bring up the Boss Bae panel. It looks like they're requesting. Ooh, my girl Banks. And then my girl Susie. Banksy! Hello. All right, y'all know the deal. It is the Boss Bae panel segment. I'm here with my mom. She's guest co-hosting. This is Modern Day Bae every Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. And I got Big Banks in this. I can't cuss. It's a featured show. Stop playing. Big Banks, go on ahead and tell the people who you are, what you do.
ladies. Ooh, all right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you're sitting in the back, if you're lurking in the back, bring yourselves to the front, hit the star, because I'm Banks, Big Banks or Banksy when I'm feeling nice, ladies and gentlemen. And today we feeling nice because we on Elle's show. Thanks for having me another week. Like she said earlier, I got a feature show on here as well, Mondays at 12, Manifesting with Banks. Come get a firm, baby. Okay, elevation and progression by any means necessary. We're back this September, or October. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. A little break right now. Other than that, come check me out. Energy, energy, energy. Because, you know, when it comes to energy, it's me. Hey. You know? There we go.
Period. Make sure y'all favor Banks. It's one of my favorite streamers on that. Your favorite streamer. Stop playing with her.
Yeah.
You already know. All right, my girl, my A Susie B. Tell the people who you are and what you got going on, baby.
Hey, y'all know who I
Wanna
am.
see you.
It's me, Susie, aka Big Bag Harley. Okay. I host bingo every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you like to play bingo, come through, catch a vibe. There's always a winner. We do that. I host games on Instagram for free diamonds. So come do that too.
Here, those Rebus, y'all, let me tell y'all something. Them Rebus puzzles are a little bit difficult, okay? So just put on your thinking cap, you know what I'm saying? Elevate your mind if you need to get into your right thinking space, because you're going to need to, okay? Them Rebus puzzles are hard. I'd be mad trying to do them, okay? And then y'all be answering them super quick, too. I don't appreciate it. Okay, y'all. So we're talking about understanding your triggers. We're talking about communicating your triggers in a relationship. It's hard enough to do that in a friendship. So in a romantic relationship, that's like 10 times the burden. So I want to have a little bit of girl talk. I want to talk about this with y'all, and I'm excited to get into it. So as I ask y'all to reflect on some of the things that my mom already spoke about, and maybe add into what you have going on, the question of the night is basically like how do you pinpoint your triggers and then communicate them, right? Have y'all had any experience in that? Is there a direct like moment when you remember like, ooh, I'm triggered by this and I need to tell this person, or is it something that you don't like to communicate? Like, I want all the tea. So I guess I'll ask for initial like reactions, whatever, and we can just go in order. And then mom, obviously, if there's anything that you want to add or speak to whenever these beautiful young ladies speak, please feel free. So Banks, we'll go ahead and start with you. What you got for us?
I don't even know why you have me on this episode. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm still dealing with this.
Me too. That's why. Me too, baby.
You asking me, and I don't even know what my triggers are. All I know is I go from 0 to 100. Okay, I don't even like confrontation. Okay, I hate confrontation so much that I will avoid problems. Okay, it'll be like, okay, we're good, and then I just cut you off because, like, you know what, you triggered me so much, and I don't like to deal with confrontation. That it's just like block, delete, stop communicating. You got the hint. We out of here. So, you know, and I'm 30. I'm 30 years old saying this, so it's like, if I didn't understand this by 30, you know, we're gonna try again at 40. We're gonna see how that works. But in the meantime,
but I feel like
that's the best answer I have for you. So
I see you, baby. Hi, Lolo, First Lady, I see you. But I feel like that's a lot of us. Like there are some things that I'm still learning. Like, you know, even recently, like in the last couple of days, mom, earlier you said something like, whenever I have a conversation with you, I'm not the same person that I was when I started the conversation. I have learned so many things about myself and just like that I didn't know, right? And I'm like, and I almost needed not only the first experience to put me in the situation, but I needed the second experience to understand how I was put in that situation. And it just takes time, and it's a process. So like, I completely agree with and understand what you're saying, Banks. You are not alone. You are not alone in this, okay? Susie, what you got to say, baby?
I agree with Mommy Bay's perspective on acknowledging your trauma, or acknowledging how your relative experience can assist you in acknowledging your triggers. As people may or may not have heard me reference before, I experienced homelessness, like destitution, sleeping like on the side of the railroad tracks, homeless. So I experienced a lot of triggers during that period. Though it was a bad situation, it helped me learn myself in that way, so that when I did transition and started to form work relationships, friendships, try to be romantic, I was aware of things that would set me off. Which I'm quick-tempered. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a fire sign. It don't take much to do that, you know. So I feel actually I may over communicate that because I want you to understand. Like I said before, once I feel like I've justified a reason to leave you alone, then that's what I'm going to do. Like, and it's because I felt I've communicated this, I've acknowledged this, or I came to you as an adult and did my portion, and I wasn't heard or I wasn't respected, you know. So now that's a trigger for me. I don't feel safe, and that's a problem. So I kind of feel like I'm the opposite. I may tend to over communicate or have a higher expectation for trigger awareness because I feel like I'm communicating that. I'm going to be open because that's a thing for me. It's prevalent. It's real. So I need you to understand that. So I'm always talking about it in some way, you know? But that's my perspective.
Okay, so and so that's interesting because I really wanted you to tie in that communication piece, and you did. So essentially you're saying that because it was so prominent for you, you talk about it enough so that people truly understand how significant that was in your life.
Yeah, maybe, and like I said, maybe even a little bit too much to where it's like, okay, we get the point, which also can be a bad thing too, like over communicating that. It's like you have to give a person space to understand who you are and acknowledge those triggers to get better, to not like make the same mistake. It doesn't help if you nag them every time they do it. And I find myself doing that sometimes in different relationships, you know?
So, Mom, what would you say, like, how would you, like, unlearn that habit? What would you say you would do? Like, what are some suggestions you have to, like, unlearn a habit once you realize that you're triggered by something?
Well, let me say that unlearning is the highest form of learning because it requires us to go all the way back, right? And figure out how we were socialized, how the things we've experienced affected us, and to then proceed to deal with those in a way that's best for us. But just a few things I want to point out. And ladies, you are beautiful and amazing, and thank you for being on here. I'm not even coming from. I'm just saying I appreciate you. But a couple things. I heard Miss Susie B say over communication, and I don't know that there is such a thing. But then you equated it with nagging later on. Like, I don't want to nag. Oh, communication is not nagging. It is saying, this is what I need from you, and I need you to understand. Can you like acknowledge what I'm saying, because this is where I'm coming from. If somebody can't do that for and with you, then perhaps they're not the right person for you. Also, going back to Miss Banks, 30 is not old, girl. Like, I'm 30. Girl, I'm 35, and I'm not getting it all together yet. And if we stop learning at any point in life, then that's when life ceases, right? We are supposed to be lifelong. We are supposed to be learning stuff until the day our last breath leaves us. So I just want to let you all know that these things are very normal. And I think, I respect and appreciate social media. It has a lot of good stuff to it, but also it provides these backdrops to what we've already been socialized in, telling us where we should be when we're 30 years old, when we're 40 years old, when we're 55 years old. And those are just false, like deadlines. They're false goals. We are all individuals, and I may achieve something at 30, right? It doesn't make me less worthy to be heard or understood. So we get to where we get to when we get there. And that's another thing about knowing yourself, not letting society dictate to you. Like, oh, you should be this, you should be that. And I told Ariel, like, when I turned 23, I felt like a failure. I was her mother. I didn't have the college degree that I thought I would have at 22, right? And a lot of other things. But these are just these are constructed, socially constructed time frames that do not apply to all of us. And coming into, and I can't help but notice we're all Black women in this frame, and understanding that we have been disrespected for centuries. So we're not just dealing with our own individual selves or our familial socialization. We're dealing with cultural socialization, with historical socialization, to how Black women have been viewed and valued or devalued in this society. And that all plays a part in what we think we deserve in relationships. Like, oh, well, I'm very needy, so I don't care. Be needy. That's you. The person who loves you is willing to explore that neediness and why you have that with you. That's not a point of rejection, right? That's like saying this is me, and I'm being vulnerable to you, which is again not easy for any human. So I'm gonna need you to hear me and understand that I'm emotional, and understand that that's not a bad thing. Spending time with yourself, I think, is one of the keys to understanding yourself, to just getting in a quiet space, turning off the social media and the ideas that what we think is pretty, what we think is smart, what we think is successful, and just being in a space of really naked, emotionally vulnerable place. And if that's in your bathtub, for me it was in my shower. I used to, when I would have students who had significantly difficult situations, that is where I would go. I feel cleansed by water. Water is a thing for me. And just by being alone in those spaces, because typically the shower is not somewhere people don't bother you at necessarily, right? So getting a safe space for yourself, a peaceful space for yourself, a sanctuary, if you will, right? Like the Baghdad aria. And it's not always that, but in moments where I'm there with my girlfriends, when we can just be who we are without any pretense, without pretending, without worrying about who sees us in what way, it's the sanctuary. And so we all need a sanctuary, I think. And we all need to be also in that space, our own sanctuary. And understanding something I learned from the Black woman when I was at work center in Cancun, is that self-care is a lifestyle. It's not a day. It's not like, oh, let me get my nails done, let me go. Self-care is a lifestyle. You incorporate that into who you are and how you exist, period.
Right.
Not just an act that you do here and there.
I love it. You know how I feel about self-care. You know that's my thing. So that's my jam. So when you start talking about that, that's always good. I think one of the questions I wanted to go back in with the panel on is like how do you recognize when you're triggered, right? Like for me, I the reason why I keep going back to this is because whenever it's not only hard to communicate your triggers, right? It's hard to like understand them. It's hard to understand why they're there. And so I feel like, as you know, Mom, you continue to talk about a healthy relationship with yourself. I think that, shout out to Jim Marcus, congratulations to you on your new top badge, sir. We see you. As we talk about that, and as we think about that, I think it's I guess just important to understand like what are I really want people to take away from this episode how they can understand what their triggers are. I really want them to understand not only how to like start to deal with them, but like how do you understand them and communicate them. So obviously you kind of spoke to that, Susie, a little bit ago about like with some of the things that you've experienced. How do you know when you're triggered and you need to communicate that, I guess is what the next question would be. If you wouldn't mind sharing that, I would appreciate it.
I'm triggered, and it's not like quick reaction response, like you know, you can tell the difference when somebody's doing something to antagonize you, like when you're actually triggered by an event or an experience, something in that way. For me, it's usually a feeling first, kind of like deja vu, like I'm instantly absorbed by how I felt originally, like I'm in that experience, in that energy, and depending on the environment, immediately I'm looking for a safe exit, because I need to, number one, take account of where I am and who I'm around. Am I in a space to be vocal? You know, am I okay, like physically, mentally, to converse about this or communicate? If not, then I look for my safe exit, and that's when I go to take time to process. It's like, feel your feelings in that moment and then process what triggered you and why. I think Mommy Bay alluded to that too, is taking that time to really figure that out. And that may take a couple days, you know. So I, in the beginning, without even saying this may trigger me or this is how I respond, it's typically, I don't like to communicate immediately when I'm upset. I want to take the time to think about what I have to say before I say it, because I don't want to receive what you're saying out of anger. You know, I'm really trying to practice be quick to listen and slow to speak. And so that helps me when I'm dealing and processing with triggers for something that's super serious for me. I have to be quick to listen to myself. What is my body saying? You know, what are my emotions saying? What is my environment saying? And then for that person, how did what they did, said, operated? Why did it trigger me? How did it trigger me? And how am I going to communicate that? Sometimes being a Sagittarian is just blunt. It's just the truth. You did this, I didn't like it, you hurt my feelings, I got an attitude. Versus other times where I have to actually think about it and take time to think before I speak, so that I don't burn a bridge I don't intend to, hurt somebody's feelings intentionally while trying to speak my truth honestly. You know, essentially just practice being a good human. All these concepts and practices we learn about communication, just really bring those into emphasis when it comes to triggers and communicating those, because those are sensitive anyway. Most times we don't communicate our triggers to another person, so they don't know what they are until we're triggered. So they don't even know what they did to make you upset, you know?
And a lot of times they scare us because it's coming from a place of vulnerability. So it's like, if I tell you this about me, are you going to use it against me? Are you going to use it whenever you're angry with me, or whenever you want me to do what you want me to do? You know what I mean? And I think that's something that specifically women consider a little bit more, because there's always that power dynamic. You know what I mean? Great stuff. I love it. Let me see what's going on here really quickly. There's my Banksy. I'm going to bring Banks back in, and if we can. What'd you say?
My apologies. What a great first impression I'm making. I apologize.
No, you are so. First of all, ain't no judgment here. You're good. You're good. Is there anything you want to add? I know earlier you gave us some insight into you, Banks, about you're still learning that. You're still going through that process. I think I would, if you're willing to share, like to know, like, what are some of the things you do to listen to yourself, to understand when you're triggered, right? Like, what are some of the things, because obviously if you're still learning them, you're still going through understanding, like, oh, I don't like how this feels. And y'all know I always say, pay attention to who's around whenever you feel at your best. Who's around whenever you're feeling good, whenever you're feeling joyous, whenever you're feeling victorious. Pay attention to that, right? Because that energy is important. But on the flip side, we also need to pay attention to the energy whenever it's not so good, right? Like, who's around? Why is it like this? So just what are some of the things you do to listen to yourself, to better learn yourself as you're experiencing those triggers? Summer, I see you, baby. Hello.
So I have physical and emotional triggers that I understand more than actually like physical. So for me, I know that when I feel like hot, like I'll get like my body will get really hot from the inside. It starts kind of like in my stomach, and I'll just like I can feel it like traveling up my chakras into like my throat, and that means like I'm about to have like verbal diarrhea and go off. So what I usually do in that instance, everybody knows that I love me some coffee. I'll take myself to Dunkin' real quick. I'm like, you know what? Let me log out. Let me go outside. You know, get away from my phone. I'll put my phone on D&D. I'll go out or water, just like your mom. Like showers are very big for me, or lakes, rivers, anything water based is something that I'm very, 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 very big on. I'll just sit by nature. I'll go on like nature walks, trails. Like I'll just like go and I'll walk around and I'll just like I'll recenter myself and try to understand what took me to that point. That's when I'll literally just sit and I'll just sit in thoughts, and it happens a lot. I'll understand more of my triggers when I'm in nature, where I'll be like, this happened and it didn't feel good, because once I start thinking about the situation again, I feel myself getting hot again, or I feel like I don't feel right, and as soon as I don't feel right in nature or by water, lakes and stuff, that's when I know that was the issue, and I use my notes pad. My phone is on D&D, and I like shut off from everybody. I won't answer texts, calls, Instagram messages, nothing, and I'll go into like my notes pad and be like, okay, this is what happened, and then what I do, I start reading my affirmations to myself, you know, this feeling will pass, this is not, my feelings are not a fact, and so forth and so forth, and that's when I understand, and I try to avoid it going forward. So this triggered me last time. How can I avoid a situation like this again so that I don't get triggered in the future? And I try to not have continuous patterns, because continuous patterns then, you know, we're just gonna go over and over again. But that's how I understand mine.
I love that. I love that. And you know, each one of you said it's about listening to yourself and giving yourself that self-care, right? That patience, that understanding, that word that my mom used at the beginning, that patience, that understanding, right? And so I appreciate y'all sharing that with us. We're at 11:53, y'all, and as much as I love this conversation, I feel like, you know, we do this every week, but we have to come to a close. So I'm gonna have the Boss Bae go ahead and do their outros and drop out before we go ahead and close out the show. Susie, we'll start with you. Go ahead and do your outro before you drop out.
Okay, tonight was so great. I think you did an amazing job. Shout out to my co-partner, Boss Bae, Banksy, and our host, ELLE The Druggg. Make sure y'all tap in, hit me with the favor. Stay tuned for all our content and be around for the teams. And remember, although we had a very nice and fulfilling conversation today, still the hood way is what?
The only way, baby. Don't play with her. Banksy!
I like her mic drops, man.
That's our outro, y'all. That's our outro. Go ahead, Banks. Give the people what they want.
Hey, you know, your favorite streamer's favorite streamer. You heard Al say it earlier, because my name is Banks. Big Banks sometimes, and Banksy when I'm feeling nice. Shout out to all of you guys that came through to support Elle and me on Elle's show today. Shout out to the moms up there and all the technical difficulties. Shout out to Elle for being the most patient person. Teach me patience, because I don't got none of that. Okay? Peace, love, and gratitude to all of you. And yeah, thank you, Elle. See y'all in 2 weeks.
Period. Big Banks. We love her. We love her. We love her. That's my girl right there. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple final thoughts before we say goodbye to my mom. So one of the things that I really took away was listen to yourself, right? Understanding that like accountability goes into it, and really in order to be accountable, you have to understand yourself, you have to learn yourself, you have to know yourself. So really taking the time to spend time with yourself and reflect on how you feel, and understanding that your feelings are important to understand in the first place, right? Another thing that I took away was the importance of being around people that truly want to see you win, right? That want to understand you, that have a will to see you do well, And surrounding yourself with that sort of energy truly makes a difference, right? Because you can be the best person that you can be. You can give your all plus 10%, right? And it not be good enough for the wrong crowd, the wrong people. So really, really make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the people that truly have a will to see you succeed. Those are the things that I kind of took away. My mommy, you're amazing. I truly appreciate you being here. Do me a favor and give your outro. Tell the people, what you want them to know about you, and then you know how to hit the X and you can box down.
Well, firstly, I want to say thank you for having me. You are beautiful and amazing, and there's not much in my life that I've done that's better than you. So that, and then also the other young women who were here with us, just blessings and peace for sharing and having the courage to do that. And all the people who are tapping in, there is hope and there is a space for you. You have a purpose in this world. I'm going to go and pack my stuff for Charlotte.
Yes. My mom is going out of town tomorrow, y'all. This was like truly a labor of love.
But just thank you, Elle.
It's okay, Mama. You done gave up the goods already. It's all right.
Thank you for being you and really appreciating and respecting humanity. That makes me more proud than anything else.
As long as you're proud, I'm good. I love you. Safe travels. I'll call you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Love you.
Peace, everybody.
All right. Bye, Mommy. Good night. Good night. Good night, y'all. What an amazing show. That was my mom. I'm so excited to be able to share my heart with y'all. Like, y'all don't understand how special that was for me. Shout out to my dad. He was in the comments too. Y'all, this was another great episode of Modern Day Bae. I'm your hostess, ELLE The Druggg. I want to give a big shout out. Thank you, Swan. I want to give a big shout out to my mom for being here for the co-host. Obviously, Susie B and Big Banks for being on the Boss Bae panel this week. And of course, my favorite DJ Rich Beats, always holding it down. Also, a big shout out to our sponsor, our media sponsor this week. Y'all will see all the Instagram reels and everything, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Yeah, Modern Day Bae. We'll see you next Tuesday. DJ Rich Beats, do your thing. Swan, I see you, man. I see you. I see you. I see you.
You don't need to know the cup. That fine China, I market it, then I ship it up. That fine China, I market it, then I ship it up. Hey, bitch, I'm off, making moves like a buff. Hey, bitch, I'm off, you don't need to know the cup. That fine China, I market it, then I ship it up. That fine China, I market it.
What's up? It's your girl, ELLE The Druggg, and when I'm not busy being a modern day bae, I am locked in with my favorite DJ Rich Beats.
Giving them back.
Put some respect on it.
It's giving them back. It's giving them hope. It's giving them look like money. It's giving you broke. It's giving them back. 2 keys in a hole.
Y'all, that was a great show. That was awesome.
Sometime, y'all. Next week, y'all.
I feel good.
Same time, same place,
Baby,
y'all.
I see you, baby. Make sure y'all save up the baddest, the bestest, my favorite DJ on this app. DJ Rich B, stop playing with him. Love you, Rich B. Thank you. You're amazing. That's the show, y'all. Yay! Let's go ahead and change this, you know what I'm saying? We gotta change the picture. We gotta change the description. Thank you, Swanee. That was great, y'all. I'm really, 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 really happy. I'm happy my parents got to see that. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Let's change the profile picture. Let's do this one. And we'll have to go ahead and change the description. And we'll have to stop recording.